PENG JOON here, author of the best-selling book, Build a Money Machine, and creator of Internet Income Intensive. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you've watched the first two videos of this free video series, which is Build a Money Machine as well as your proven bestseller. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing you the big picture. How is it possible to automate this entire business? How is it possible to build a website and have it running on autopilot so that it could potentially be making money for you even while you are asleep? And I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but in this very video, I'm going to be showing you behind the scenes how I've done it, not just me, but literally thousands of my students and graduates around the world. All right, so this is the big picture. I'm going to be showing you a 4-step process that has enabled me to pretty much automate my business so that it allows me to have freedom. Not just money freedom, but time freedom. To be able to spend more time with my family, my friends, and to be able to travel the world while my entire business is still running on its own. So how does someone even make that happen? Let me share with you the different steps, right? So it all begins with step number 1, and that is to have your offer page up. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you that in this 4-step process, in order to make this happen, you really just need to have 4 different pages. The offer page is the page where you showcase your product, where you're selling your product, and you're persuading your audience on why they need to get your product. Right after this flip chart, I'm actually going to be showing you how you can build your very own world-class sales page that will convert like crazy, but doing it in a way that's non-salesy, non-pushy, and non-manipulative. Right, so that's step number 1, having your offer page. Now, at the end of the offer page, you're going to give your customers, your audience, the opportunity to invest in your product. And that's where the buy now button or the add to cart button is going to be. That brings us to step number 2. Step number 2 is this. Step number 2 is if they like what they see, right at the end of the offer page, there should be a payment button, a payment processor that will enable you to process credit cards from anyone, anywhere in the world, as long as they've got a Visa, MasterCard, American Express. Your website will be able to process this payment. And one of the fastest, easiest way to do it is through PayPal. That's how I started out. PayPal is totally free. It's probably the most used credit card processor merchant in the world. And I still use it even till today. It's really easy to get started. They'll give you a code, you put it in your website, and your website will be able to process payments from literally anyone, anywhere in the world, as long as they've got a Visa, American Express, or a MasterCard. Now, right after your customer makes payment to you, they should be automatically, and that's the key word here, to be automatically taken to the 3rd step. And this is the 3rd step. The 3rd step is they should be taken to this page that's pretty much a secret page that is hidden from the public. And this is a member page. This member page will be available to only those that made payment to you. And those that bought your product, they will be automatically taken to this member page. Now, this is the page where you thank them and you congratulate them for making the right move and investing in your product. And on this member page, this is where you'll also include, and this is the final step, where you include your product for them to download. Now, notice this entire process here. I know it looks simple. It's only 4 steps. And literally, this 4 steps is what has enabled me to leverage and to automate my entire business. My entire business is pretty much based on these 4 steps. Today, we run close to 600 different websites. And all of them, the reason why it's automated is because a person could come to my offer page at 3 in the morning while I'm asleep. It could be at 7 at night when I'm out with friends and family. If they like what they see, they take out their credit cards and they make payment. This payment could be any payment processor. It could be Authorized Net, it could be PayPal, it could be ClickBank. The payment processor takes the money and it automatically redirects them to a secret member page, and on the member page, they're able to download the product. Right? So this is the big picture. This is the 4 steps that enable a person to automate their business, and this is what you want to be doing. So that being said, now that we look at this and we can understand that pretty much this step is the step that starts it all off. So the question now would be, how do we create a world-class offer page that converts like crazy, but again, doing it in a way that's non-salesy, non-pushy, and non-manipulative? How is that done? So let me share with you how that's done. It's through this process. Now, when it comes to creating a world-class offer page, there are a few different elements that needs to be in place. So let me talk about what they are. A good offer page should always start off identifying the problem, that there's this urgent problem that's out there in that market, in that niche today. So for example, if it's in internet marketing, the problem that people are facing today is that they're going online, they're typing in how to make money online. There's about 2 billion search results, all asking them to do different things from dropshipping, eBay, Amazon, ClickBank, PayPal, in all these different ways. And they start out with the product and they get totally confused because they're always starting. And that's where, shiny object seekers, they're always looking for a next big thing. They get totally overwhelmed, they get confused, and eventually they quit. Now that's a huge problem. So in other words, you want to present what the problem is in that market, in that niche of yours. Then you move on to step 2. Step 2 in your offer page, you tell them this. You tell them that you have a promise to a unique solution, right? What if there was a way to build your online business, but without being a programmer, designer, or coder, without being technical about it? What if there was a way to take what you know and package it into a product that's monetizable and marketable on the marketplace? So for example, that would be a promise for someone in the internet marketing niche. Now if you move on to the third step, and this is probably the most important element of it all, and that's why I've drilled it down to 5 more steps. And step number 3 would be your ability to tell your story. Now, I've talked about this in the previous video where I said facts tell, stories sell. Now, when it comes to your story, this is the one thing that will make all the difference. One of the reasons why you want to be able to tell your story is so that you can connect with your audience, so that they can understand that, hey, this person is human too. This person is just like me. This person understands my struggles. This person, I can understand that I was once in his shoes. That's what you want to be doing. So in other words, when it comes to telling your story, it begins with, like all stories, even in Hollywood, where it starts off with, life is good. You're living your life and everything's going well. And then, usually, even in Hollywood blockbusters, comes the brick wall, the problem, right? And you want to share with your audience a problem or a low point in your life that you faced. So for me, it was when I was in school, I didn't get good grades in college, and finally I managed to get my first job, right? And my first job paid me $300 to $400 a month. And that was one of the 2 lowest points in my life. And I know that it's hard to be vulnerable, but you want to be able to share with your audience what were the problems and challenges that you faced in your market, in your niche, in your life. And that's really important to share to show the audience that you too are human, that you too have weaknesses, that you too have screws up in life. Just like me, I've screwed up multiple times. Most of the times I tell people my mistakes. And this is where, on the third point, you want to share with them this. And that is the moment of decision. This, you want to be sharing with them at which point in your life you told yourself, you know what, I've had it. It could be a moment of decision where you had an epiphany, where you decided, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. My moment of decision when I decided to make a change was when I was, if you heard my story, it was when I was in the shower, the water's coming down, it's 45 minutes in, but I wasn't really showering, right? I was just thinking about life and how did I screw up this badly in life. I had everything going on for me. So I'd like you to think about that. It could be a long time ago. What was that moment of decision in your life that you said, you know what, I'm doing something different. You know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. What was that moment of decision that you decided to change? That brings me to my next point. You want to be able to share this. And this is when you want to be talking about your journey of discovery. So remember, whatever product that you eventually want to share with your audience, you want to share with them how you managed to get on that path to discover the solution that you're about to offer. So for me, it was, I went online and I bought a ton of home study courses, videos, I enrolled in a lot of courses, seminars. You're going to be talking about your journey of discovery, to discover that solution. And finally, you want to be sharing with your audience, and that is what got you to the success today. You see, many times, many amateur marketers, all they want to do is they want to talk about their success. I got so successful in this, I became the #1 in that. But what they fail to do is they fail to share their struggles in their life. And if you don't do that, the audience will not be able to connect with you. You see, many times whenever I travel the world and I do all these different speaking engagements, I always tell people my struggles, because my struggles is what enables a person to connect with me, to let them see that I have my fears, my fear of embarrassment, my fear of failure, and that's what makes me human. Can you imagine if I went on stage and I said I've got all these different successful companies and all these different websites, and the reason for that is because I'm a good programmer, designer, coder, and writer, and I'm able to code with both my hands, and both the codes will meet in the middle from left to right. You know what's going to happen at the end? At the end of my talk, a person's going to be sitting down there thinking, you know what, PENG JOON, this sounds really good, and I can see why you have all the success you have, but that is why I can't do it. So in other words, when a person's listening to you, they're not just doubting you, but they're also doubting themselves. It could be the case that they trust you that, okay, I understand that you've got answers, but I don't know if I can do it. So this enables them to get through and beyond that self-doubt. And that's why this portion is so important, for you to be able to share your struggles with your audience. Now, once you've talked about the story, step number 4 would be this. You want to be talking about and introducing your product. So you want to be talking about, introducing your product name. And a very important part of the offer is knowing the difference between features and benefits. So for example, let's take a look at a mobile phone, right, that has got Wi-Fi, LTE, 4G enabled. Now, is that a feature or is that a benefit? That would be a feature, right? What would be the benefit of having 4G or LTE? The benefit would be so that they can connect to the internet from anywhere in the world as long as there's 4G connection. So in other words, one of the things you want to be doing is you want to list down all of your product's features and their benefits. And the way to do it is through the words, so that you can. Features, so that you can. Benefits. Features, so that you can. Benefits. You want to be talking about your product. And finally, the last step would be this. This would be a call to action. At the end of every single page of your offer page, there needs to be a call to action. If not, no action will be taken. Why? Because if you think about it, if you went to a local store and the salesperson, she's been really nice to you, and for the last 15 minutes you've been talking to her, but in your mind you know that you're not buying. Normally, what do you say? You say, okay, thank you, I'll think about it. But if you think about that, nobody really goes home and think about it. They're not going to go back, sit down in a chair and say, let me think about it. So in other words, the mindset and the angle to come from should be, it's now or never. They're either going to buy now or they're never going to buy. So when it comes to the call to action, first of all, there's a couple of things to understand the psychology of human behavior. Normally when people are thinking about buying something, they look at the cost, how much it's going to cost them. What they don't think about is the value. So what you want to be doing is you want to be able to shift them from thinking about how much it costs to how much it's worth. And that's really important. So what you want to be doing is this. At the end of, it could be anything. So let's say if you are selling a Forex product, and this Forex product is a $497 home study course, right? So your call to action could sound something like this. It says, right now at this point, you would have two options, right? And option number one would be to continue what you're doing all this while and to try to figure things out on your own. Option number two would be to invest in this Forex home study course, which is a $497 price tag. Now, I understand that that could sound like a lot of money, but rather than thinking about how much it cost, think about how much is this worth to you? How much is it worth to you to be able to work from home, do trades, and to have returns of investments of up to 20% a year? How much is that worth to you? How much is it worth to you to be able to work from anywhere in the world as long as you've got just a computer and an internet connection? How much is it worth to you to be able to spend time working from home so that you can be with your family and your kids? How do you even put a price tag to that? How much is that lifestyle worth to you? So you see what I'm doing here? I'm getting them to shift rather than think about how much it costs to think about how much it's worth to them. Now, one of the things I've been doing the whole day today, I've been drinking green juice. So it could be the case that if you're selling bottled green juice, you know, and I've been buying, it's like $8 a bottle here in the US, right? So many times, and I drink that like 5 bottles a day. That's a $40 expense on a daily basis. And sometimes people tell me, Peng Joon, that's crazy. Why do you spend so much every month buying green juice? So again, if I were to come from the angle, it would be, yes, I understand that $40 a day sounds a little bit ridiculous. That's what, $250 a week? That's nearly about $1,000 every month. Now, again, if I were to come from the angle, what I would say is, I understand that $1,000 a month, right? And imagine if I'm selling green juice right now. So right up to this point, you're probably thinking, okay, Peng Joon, your package of $1,000 a month for recurring green juice sounds like a lot of money. But here's the thing, rather than thinking about how much it costs, think about how much is it worth you to be able to wake up in the morning feeling energized and revitalized, feeling great every day. How much is it worth you to be able to wake up in the morning and ready to take on a day, just ready to go? How much is it worth you to be able to potentially extend your life? Think about it. If you could have a healthier lifestyle, to be drug-free, stress-free, worry-free, and to be able to extend your life potentially, say, 5 years more, 10 years more, how much more money do you think you can make if you lived an extra 5 years? So how much do you think that's worth to you? How do you even put a price tag to that? Right? So in other words, notice what I'm doing here. I'm getting them to shift from how much it costs to how much it's worth to them. And that's what you want to be doing in your call to action. And finally, if you want a really strong call to action, you need to have a painful call to action, whereby if you don't take action now, there are consequences to their action or inaction. So for example, if let's say you're selling a $5,000 course on property and buying property at below market value. So let's say that's your course. So another way you could do it would be, right up to this point, you're probably thinking, you have two main choices, right? To do whatever you've been doing all this while, right? And do it through trial and error and try to figure things out on your own. That would be your first option. Your second option would be to come for my property investment at below market value, which is going to cost you $5,000. Now, I understand that $5,000 could sound like a lot of money, but rather than thinking about how much it costs, how much is it worth to you to be able to buy just one property at 10% market value? Surely you would agree that if you were able to buy a property at just 10% below market value, the return on that would be way more than just $5,000. But I'd like you to notice one thing. You could go out there, make the mistakes, do it by trial and error, and learn through those mistakes, or come for my event at $5,000. But notice one thing. Either way, you still pay. You either pay through making those mistakes, which is going to end up costing you a whole lot more, or you come to my seminar where I'll teach you how to invest in property and real estate at below market value. Right? So you want to make it painful, that either way, there's going to be consequences if they do not invest, right? You could make it so that the painful call to action would be for a limited time only, there's going to be 3 bonuses that I will pull off after a week. It could be the case that we are going to be taking this offer off at the end of the day. Or it could be at this price point, it's only valid for the next 100 customers, right? But most important thing to remember from this call to action is there must be a painful call to action. If not, no action will be taken. All right, so to summarize this entire step, this is what's needed. These are the critical elements needed for a world-class offer page. And this offer page is the page that starts it all off. This is the first page that links all these things together so that, and again, these are the 4 steps needed so that you can have an automated business. All right, so that being said, in the last couple of days, I've had a lot of comments, a lot of people been posting, asking questions. So there's a lot of questions I want to thank you for that. So one of the things I want to do is I want to answer the top few questions that I've been getting all the time, and I'm going to be doing it right here, right now. So let me just go ahead and get the questions now. All right, so right now I'm going to be taking the top 10 questions that I've received that I get all the time, and I thought I'll be able to share it with all of you here to add value and to serve you guys more. All right, so this would be question number 1. The first question would be, I noticed that there's a lot of information products. How about selling physical products? How does that work? So here's the thing, if you watched the previous video, which was on your own creating your bestseller, you'll realize that a lot of them are information products. And the reason for that is because, well, for one, let's face it, today we are living in the information age. So naturally, what do you think we should be selling? Information. Now, information products, I love it because it's the easiest and fastest ways to scale. Now, what does that mean? Scaling means to take something that's working and making it 10 times better, right? So when it comes to making, let's say, your $1,000 online every month consistently, you see, making it through physical products, that's pretty simple. However, the difference is when you want to scale this to a $10,000 per month business. You see, when it comes to selling digital products, how you make your first sale and how you make your first 1 million, the game doesn't really change that much. When I made my first million, I was still a one-man company running from my own home. I didn't have any employees. I outsourced everything. Everything was virtual. However, if you run a physical business, the game totally changes when it's a 7-figure business. Why? Because when it's a 7-figure business, when you're small, you can be doing the shipping and fulfillment yourself. As it becomes a 5, 6, or even a 7-figure business, you can't do that yourself. You need to hire people to handle the packing, the shipping, the fulfillment. If it becomes really big, you got to handle the warehousing, you got to handle the logistics. So the ball and the game totally changes as you grow for a physical business. So the theories and the strategies that I showed you in the first 2 videos will still work for physical products. Only difference is that the game will change dramatically as you scale this to become a 6 or 7-figure business. All right, and that's why I favor information products or digital products, things that are intangible, that cannot be seen, touched, or felt, rather than physical products. All right, so that's question number 1. Question number 2 would be this. PENG JOON, I'm not good with computers. I'm not a designer, programmer, coder, or writer. Can I still make this work? Absolutely. Even till today, I still don't know how to write a line of code. I don't know HTML. I don't know C++. I don't know Java, or any of that mumbo jumbo, right? I still don't know. I'm not good with computers. I'm not technically savvy. And I still don't write any of my content. My book was not written by me. I outsourced it. Someone from my team, her name is Lila. She wrote it for me. So in other words, what you want to be doing is you want to be focusing on your strength and you want to be outsourcing your weaknesses. You can do anything you choose to. You can't just do everything. So in other words, the one skill that you want to be focusing on is in marketing. And the good news is marketing is a learnable, trainable skill. And you can actually learn that, right? So Don't worry if you're not good with computers, if you're not a programmer, designer, or coder. I'm still none of that. The one skill you want to focus on that actually pays the bills is in marketing. Question number 3. Question number 3 is, I want to remain anonymous. I don't want to do videos. Can I still make that happen? Yes, a huge resounding yes. For a really, really long time, I never marketed my name, PENG JOON, right? Because for a really long time, first of all, if you know me, you know that I'm an introvert. I'm pretty much an introvert trying to play the extrovert's game. For a really long time, I marketed all of my products under pen names. I never appeared on videos, and that's why you'll never see videos of me longer than 3-4 years ago. Why? Because I marketed everything under pen names. So if you don't want to appear on videos like what I'm doing today, don't do it. Market under a pen name, and you can still make it work by having sales videos, by hiring voiceovers, right? You can come up with the script, or you can even outsource the script and get someone to do the voiceover and make that as part of your sales video. So if you want to remain anonymous, by all means do it. I did it for a really long time. That's question number 3. Question number 4 would be, what's the one secret to making money online? And I think I get this all the time. Now here's the thing. There's a lot of people out there who's always looking for the next shiny object. They're looking for the holy grail. They're looking for the push button, where at the push of the button, they can make money online. So let me say this. First of all, when it comes to the secret to making money online, if I had to sum it down into one paragraph, I would say this. I would like you to think of making money online like dating in high school. That's what it is. Now think about it, and I'm pretty sure the guys will agree with me. In high school, and if you, let's say there's this girl you really like, and I'm talking to the guys here, somehow the more interest you show in the girl, and the more obsessed you are about it, the girl is somehow going to shy away, right? And ladies, I'm pretty sure you'll agree as well. However, if the guy kind of plays it cool, then they might stand a chance. Now, how does this even relate to the online world? In all ways. If your primary question is always on, how can I make money online? How can I make money online? Money is going to just shy away from you. Now, I understand that all of us, right, chances are you want to make big money online. But rather than starting with that primary question, your primary question should be, please write it down. Number 1 would be, how can I help more people? And number 2 would be, how can I add more value? Now, if you start from these 2 questions, money will happen as a result. Understand that money is just a byproduct of helping somebody else, a byproduct and a result of adding value to someone else's life. If I would, I want to share with you this. When I first created that bestseller in Farmville Secrets, that over 1.3 million US dollars in under 7 months, that all started from a conversation that I have with a friend. I remember her telling me, she was saying, PENG JOON, in the last 2 weeks, I've spent over $150 buying this thing called Farmville Cash. And I was like, what is Farmville Cash? And I went online and I realized that the company makers, Zynga, they were making a lot of money, and they had a company valuation of over $1 billion through selling pixels and selling Farmville Cash. And I thought, wow, this is crazy. People are paying money for this. And she told me something else. She said, on top of that, I haven't really slept well in the last couple of days. And I was like, how can you even lose sleep over Farmville? And she said, yeah, I've been setting my alarm clock in the middle of the night just so that I can wake up and harvest my crops. And I thought that was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. And that was my aha moment. I said, what if I created a product, a guide that helped people save money instead of spending unnecessary money fueling this addiction, and also help them schedule their time so that their life does not revolve around this computer game. And so with my product, I literally gave them a spreadsheet that teaches them, so if you're away for 5 minutes, for 4 hours, for 8 hours, which crop would be the most optimal crop for you to grow. Now, obviously, if you don't play this game, that will not make sense to you. But understand that the angle that I came from was really just, how can I help this group of people? How can I add more value to them? And that's all I did. And that's how this game, which I didn't even play, I outsourced writing this guide to somebody else, became a $1 million product in less than a year. So that's the secret to making money online. Think of it as dating in high school. Number 5 would be this. I'm not a marketer. I hate doing sales. Can I still do this? All right. So here's the thing. When it comes to marketing, people have this perception of how marketing and sales should look like. Like a person should be in a suit and be really slick in talking. Now notice one thing. One thing that I've been trying to teach you all this while is how to sell, but doing it in a way that's non-salesy, non-manipulative, and non-slimy, right? And at the end of the day, notice one thing. All I'm doing is I'm just teaching. The best marketers are really just teachers. What you want to be doing is just teach them, help them solve that solution, solve that problem. Give them that solution to a problem. And if you can help them do that, those who are serious, who want to learn more from you, they'll be able to make that decision, right? Just give them the meat and potatoes and they'll be able to make their own evaluation on whether they want to learn more from you. The best marketers in the world are really just teachers, and that's what you want to be doing. Number 6 would be, can you give me the exact steps to make it happen? So here's the thing, I've taught this system around the world to over 10,000 people around more than 20 different countries today. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to those 5 steps. If you didn't watch the first video yet, watch the first video. It's called Build a Money Machine. I'm still going to be here. And those are pretty much the 5 steps, the 5 strategies you need to master if you want to build a successful online business. Those would be the 5 steps. Next one, number 7, is if you were to start all over again, what would you do? I would buy Google shares, right? If I were to start all over again, what I would do is I would create my digital product and I would sell 2 things, just 2 things to focus on. Number 1 would be ebooks, because it's really easy to get started. You can do so without being a programmer, designer, or coder. And I would also create a membership site, because that is the best way to generate a passive recurring income. Those will be the only 2 things that I would concentrate on, because it's the easiest to get started and there are a lot of tools and softwares out there today that will help you make it happen, right? So that's what I would do if I were to start it all over again. Create my digital course, set up a membership site. Number 8, can a normal person do this? Well, quite frankly, I don't know what that means. Well, I'm a normal person, right? I was not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be out there on the farm helping my dad out, you know, if I never picked this line of this path. So when someone says, can a normal person do this? You know, and I've got this question many times, you know, can I do it? Can you know, I've got this and that background. Can I do it? At the end of the day, anybody can do this. Like I mentioned, you don't need to be a programmer, designer, or coder, or to be an expert, or to be a writer. The most important element to learn in this business is marketing. And the good news is it's a learnable, trainable skill. So number 9 would be, what should I focus on? There's so many things in internet marketing and I get totally overwhelmed. What are the key areas that I should focus on? And I think this is key here. There's just, I do agree that there's so much fluff out there. At the end of the day, I want you to remember these 5 key areas, because these 5 key areas are the areas you should focus on. Everything else is fluff. Number 1 is your sales funnel. A sales funnel means from the time a person comes to your website, what actually happens to this person? Are you capturing their lead? Do you have products to sell to them? Are you giving value? That's the sales funnel. Number 2 would be traffic, getting people to come to your website. Number 3 is conversions, meaning to say that out of 100 people that come to your website, how many people end up buying, and more importantly is how much do they end up spending, right? Number 4 would be the marketing aspect of it, and number 5 would be branding. These are the 5 key areas you want to focus on. Everything else is fluff, right? So these are the 5 key areas. Focus your attention to, because these are the 5 areas that will actually move the needle, that will actually help you reach more people, to help you make more revenue. Right, that's number 9. And finally, number 10 would be, what do I have to do to get to your level? So here's the thing. If you want to be good at anything in life, whether it's a hobby, whether it's playing the guitar, whether it's in sports, at the end of the day, whether it's in business, investing, it just comes down to one thing. And that one thing is really practice. I was never good speaking in front of crowds. I was never good in speaking in front of a camera. I did this video in one take. Let me tell you, my first video that I ever did, and Xu, who's over here, she will tell you that my first video is 22 seconds long, and it took me about 15 takes to do it, right? And at the end of the day, every master was really once a disaster. Every master that has got, that makes a move look so easy. If you look at an Olympian, a gymnast, who makes the move look so easy, what people don't see is the blood, sweat, and tears that person put behind the scenes to make that happen, right? What people see is just on the surface level. Many people tell me this today. They say, Peng Joon, I love what you do. I see you traveling the world and you have a lifestyle of freedom. I want to have what you have. And I always tell them this, you might like what I do, but would you like what I did to get to my level today? What people don't see is the hours and the times I sacrificed when my friends were out in clubs and pubs and watching movies and having a good time, the times when I had to say, no, I'm going to be staying back and be working on my online business. All those sacrifices, many people don't see. What people just see is what happens on the surface level. So at the end of the day, if you want to be good at anything, whether it's an online business, whether it's playing the guitar, the answer to and the path to mastering, it's 10,000 hours, right? If you want to be good at anything, the path to mastery is really in its practice. So those were the top 10 questions. I hope that this video has served you. I'd love to hear from you. Again, just comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are, your comments. If you have any questions, let me know what your biggest takeaway is. And in a couple of days, I'm going to be opening up enrollments to our online program, Internet Income Intensive, that will also come with a ticket to our live event. This is the same event that has literally changed lives across more than 20 countries, more than 10,000 graduates, and I hope that you'll be able to join us. It's going to be in small, limited groups, so it's going to be up for a limited time. Until then, I hope that you continue your journey in learning. It's finally time to start taking action. It is your time.